Okay. I would like to say that your future is my name is noted. Nah, it's because right now I'm streaming. The Hades one I fell off. But the Omega one I just want to end the stream first before I respond. I have a second part. 1 second, sorry, I'm looking at something. I was waiting for y'all to get in here. No way. Yeah, that was okay. Sorry, so I'm in the Homestuck server, right? In today's update, Vriska got introduced immediately in the new readers channel. Vriskor started it instantly, like frame 1, absolutely frame 1, and it's hilarious. I've just been looking at that all day. Like genuine Vriskors. They're already arguing if she's a good person or not because of what she did to Tavros. It's like getting in a car crash, but dying music plays, just like you fire with it and just vibe. I had some manga pens of small Rosa ready for you, but since I'm about no! Please come back soon, Ruby. So I'm in the Homestuck Discord and I do no, that's fair. She doesn't have sprites for this part. She doesn't? Oh, okay. I might have encircled the massive area. Or maybe I just had that impression because my child's legs were difficult to walk in the forest. Anyway, I couldn't find a gate for a while. And I tried to feel sad as though the witch had rejected me. As I did, I eventually came upon a large tree whose twisted root had bent the fence. It might get my clothes dirty, but if I crawled it, it looked like I'd be able to sneak in. And there you found the hidden mansion. I don't know if it was the hidden mansion we've been talking about. Still, at the very least, it wasn't a place that we know now. It wasn't as though I came out into the garden as soon as I passed the fence. I had to continue through a lot more uncultivated forest after that. As I did, the forest suddenly opened up. And what appeared there was an unbelievably fantastical scene. To think that on Ronkenjima, where I thought only we lived, there could be such a wonderful mansion hidden away. A beautiful flower garden spanned in front of the mansion. It was a flower garden but completely different design from the rose garden we know so well, but it was so lovely. Of course, the mansion was also wonderful. It was a couple sizes smaller than ours, but it was still elegant and adorable at the same time. Then, I saw her figure. I saw her sitting in a garden chair, positioned to give a view of the flower garden, wearing an elegant dress. I'm scared, because if it's Beatrice Senior, then wham, easy. But if it's Beatrice Junior, that's going to be so confusing, dude. I won't even... Right now, if it's Beatrice Junior, I'm not saying nothing. I'm not pausing for a second to theorize. I'm just letting it be. Elementary. Oh! She looks stupid. That's really cute. I was hoping that she would look a little bit more similar to Maria. That would have been cute. I mean, in a way she does. Good picture. Thank you, Ruby. It was that black dress embroidered in gold that we would later know from the portraits. I I hadn't seen an elegant dress like that except in fairy tales and on the stage of musicals. For a person to be wearing it as her normal clothes, that in itself seemed quite fantastical. The mysterious scene was enough to make me lose my sense of reality. If someone had told me then that it was a dream, I might have nodded obediently and waited to wake up in my bed. I had forgotten to hide myself in my shock, so she eventually spotted me. At first her expression was quite listless, but when she noticed me, her eyes opened wide. It was only natural, considering that the guest she didn't know had suddenly appeared. I lowered my head automatically, planning to greet her and apologize for entering without permission. I'm over it, let's continue. Who are you? The new gardener. Those were the first words she said to me. I grew slightly calmer, because I realized that we could talk to each other. Because I hadn't been turned into a frog just by meeting her eyes like a terrifying witch in a fairy tale. I'm sorry. I shouldn't have entered the garden without permission. Who are you? Name yourself. I am Ushiramiya Rosa. Ushiramiya? Huh. One of Kinzo's family. Huh? Yes! I'm Kinzo's daughter. Good afternoon. I was a little surprised. After all, father was a great man feared by everyone. And yet she had spoken of him without using honorifics, so I was immediately terrified of her. After all, if she could refer to my fearsome father that way, she must be a witch with incredible power. So how old is she? Like, come on, gang. Like, it's looking pretty problematic to me. It's looking pretty problematic. That shouldn't have a fandom. That's all I can say. After staring at me curiously, she beckoned me to come over. Frightened as I was, I obeyed. After all, I thought she might really turn me into a frog. The closer I got, the stronger the fear became. After all, as I keep saying over and over, that woman in her dress in the flower garden, the mansion, that whole picture was so fantastical and beautiful that it seemed separate from reality. It probably wouldn't have surprised me at all to learn that she really was a witch. It's not a problem that she's so adult. I mean, it is a problem because Butler isn't an adult. That's the problem. She can be 40 years old, who cares? But Butler is like either 17 or 18. Even if it's 18, it's still problematic. That's still a humongous age gap. I don't know, gang. I don't know. And I really was lucky. She hadn't turned me into a frog. This would be easier. How so? How so? Just okay. No. And I was really lucky. She hadn't turned me into a frog. As I awkwardly stood there, stock still, she motioned to an open chair and urged me to sit down. I'm 40. I'm 40 years old with an 18-year-old, and it's still. Anyways. Oh, pretty. Have a seat. Welcoming and speaking to those who visit this garden for the first time is my sole pleasure. Of course, I have no pleasure other than that. As she said this, she let an unhappy smile show for just an instant. Because I was full of strange mix of tension and excitement, I rudely asked her a question all of a sudden. Are you the witch of the forest, Beatrice? Indeed, I am Beatrice. As I thought, Beatrice actually existed. Does she really look like the portrait? Yes. Really, just like the portrait.
So, she wasn't just a witch from a father's imagination.
Well, what did you talk with her about? As she prepared some tea, she asked me all kinds of things about myself. First, she was surprised that I had come together through the forest. It seems she believed that many dangerous wolves lived outside the fence. So when I told her I'd come through the forest to reach this place, she was shocked. She asked how I managed to escape from the wolves. Did I give them a biscuit and let them go, and they let me go? Or did I cover myself in a magic cloak? That kind of thing.
That sure sounds like a witch. What an interesting person.
Quiet, dear. This goes way back. But didn't Father threaten us, saying we should never get near the forest because of the wolves that live there?
Yes, he did say something of the sort. Ridiculous. Even the Japanese wolves went extinct long ago. Truly a trick to fool children. I don't remember though. Did Dad really tell us something like that? It was that witch of the forest, right? I don't think I ever heard about wolves.
Quick BRB. I'm back. This was when you were still in elementary school. Don't you remember? Back then, you actually said you thought it would be cool to try petting the wolves. Father immediately gave up the wolf story and changed to the story of the witch. Seriously, what transparent lies they were.
At the time, the witch story had a much more immediate effect on you, Rudolph, than the wolves. I remember it well. Do you remember those nights where you clung to my back?
I see. So even Rudolph's-san used to be that cute.
Hey, shut up. I was just a kid.
Well, at any rate, if Father's the one who shut Beatrice up in there, it makes sense that he'd used the same story about wolves. To him, the vast forest of Ronkenjima was a wall that shouldn't be crossed, dividing us two incompatible worlds. The Ushiramiya family and his mistress's mansion.
Considering the height of the fence, it does sound as though Father turned that whole area garden and all into a giant jail cell. Just like a border dividing those two separate worlds.
Wolves aside, could there have been some breed of stray dogs there at the time? Perhaps the fence was there to protect against those. There aren't any wolves or stray dogs on Ronkenjima. The fence was probably a border between us and Beatrice.
But if she innocently believed that story about wolves, that's pretty naive. That's nothing like what I expect a witch to do.
You're right. I sense that too. She was very pompous, just like the image of a witch. But she was somehow very childish. She was, how shall I put it, too straightforward. She gave me the impression that she didn't know anything about the world. It was as though she come from some fairy tale land. She really was a strange person.
What happens after that? Did you end up talking about that at all?
Yes. Once every few days, usually on an arranged day, but sometimes suddenly. Father would casually appear and they drink together, or else take a walk together, or something. She said she happened to be alone on that day I visited.
I see. An obvious mistress, you might say. My. I don't know how much younger she was, but good for Father.
We can be sure this was no indecent relationship. Period. There's no way a lover's meeting between a man and a woman wouldn't have some sensuality. What happens next? What did you talk about after that? I've already introduced myself, so I asked about her. When I asked, the atmosphere quickly grew depressing. How shall I put it? She seemed to grow listless and lonely. It was the same expression I saw on her face in the beginning.
Well, she was his hidden mistress after all. If she just walked around wherever she liked, Mom might have found her. I bet she was practically under the house arrest. Even though she had beautiful clothes, a beautiful mansion, and a garden, she must have felt pretty cramped. I'll bet she had it rough. And then?
She was definitely worried about something. I remember feeling really sad myself, when I suddenly wasn't something I could do something about by talking to her. She seemed to forget I was even there. She gazed vaguely off into the distance and was silent for a long, long time. I thought I must have said something wrong. But it didn't seem to be the type of atmosphere where I could apologize. So I remained silent too for a long, long time, until she remembered I was there. And then she muttered unexpectedly. Whoa, what is this song? This is such a pretty song! Oh my gosh, this song is so pretty! This is such a lovely song! This is the song, oh! Well, it makes sense. It's so pretty. Are there really no wolves beyond the fence? Huh? Yes, that's right. I've never seen wolves, not even in a zoo. What is a zoo? It's a place where they keep all kinds of animals. They're full of rare animals like elephants and giraffes and pandas. Huh? So, there aren't any wolves in a zoo? Then, it might not be so scary. Even if there were wolves, all of them animals are put in cages, so it's safe. That's why you can safely look at them and learn about them. The mighty witch of the forest was apparently terrified of wolves. I remember it looked pretty funny to me at the time. How am I any different? Huh? She didn't know about zoos. I explained how fun zoos could be. but it was very difficult for a person like her who had never visited one to understand. On the contrary, as I explained it to her, her expression grew increasingly dismal. She couldn't see the difference. Apparently, even though she lived in an elegant mansion that was surrounded by a high fence and seemed to lie for nothing, she couldn't see how she was any different from animals shut up in cages. Who am I? Everyone calls me Beatrice, and that does indeed seem to be the name of a great witch, as you say. But that isn't me. I cannot use any magic. I simply have the soul of that witch sealed inside my body. Huh? There was definitely something odd about her. Beyond just being cut off from the world, it's she truly believed that magic exists. I think she talked about lots of weird things, but I don't remember the details. All I thought was that it was making a person to be pitied. She was unable to leave this mansion of her own free will, a prisoner without even realizing it. And she didn't know anything about the outside world. She didn't even understand who she was. She probably vaguely realized that she was to be pitied. But since she didn't know anything, she seemed incapable of recognizing her own unhappiness. Long ago, when I told Nessa that I felt sorry for the bird in the cage, she said this: "A bird that only knows about the inside of a cage doesn't long for the outside." But this wasn't a bird. She really was a person. Even if she'd never been outside the cage, she understood that there was more to the world. So, I invited her. "Do you want to try going outside the fence?" There really aren't any wolves. There aren't. You'd definitely be safe. I want to leave, but the gate is always closed. There's the place I came in through. It's got the crack you can slip through. If we go through there, will there be a world outside? Yes. There really aren't any wolves. Right, there aren't any. I've only planned on inviting her to go out on a short walk, but she kept looking over her shoulder at this mansion as though she was seriously worrying about the decision. Then I learned what she was preparing herself for. I have had enough of this place. I want to go outside, and I want to know who I am, what's happening in this world, and why I was born. I didn't know what her life had been like before then. It was probably something she couldn't express easily. It was harsh. She just had to say she wanted to escape. If it was sweet, she just had to say she'd stay. For example, maybe it was like how a hot fireplace on a winter day makes the air get thicker and thicker, giving you a headache. Even though you know you shouldn't keep things that way they are, you still need courage to open the window and be tormented by the cold wind. She was starting to realize that she couldn't stay here forever. She was starting to realize that she had to go outside someday. But since she didn't know about the outside world, she must have needed courage to take that unspeakable first step outside. And despite that, she made her decision. She'd voiced her decision to go outside, a decision she was probably making for the first time in her life. I hesitated for a moment. Father had decided that she should live here. She was like Father's beloved bird in a cage. If I just let her escape, Father might scold me harshly. I want to see... See what? I want to see... Sue. I was a little surprised when she finally gave me a gentle smile. Could that have been the far-sightedness brought about by her decision to venture out from her cage? It was a smile so gentle, I couldn't imagine that it had come from the once dark face. When I speak with you, I keep hearing about things I don't know. I don't even know about this thing called school, nor do I know about zoos. I don't know about movie theaters. I don't know about amusement parks. And I feel from the bottom of my heart that I want to know about those things. Will you take me to see them? Huh? Yes! I was nervous about how I could keep it a secret from Father, but her face looked so happy, so I went along with her and nodded. But she seemed to not notice the meaning behind my vague smile. She seemed to believe that I really take her to all those places. She was pure and genuine. She probably never been tricked by anyone. No, maybe it's better to say that she never learned how to doubt. Her smile was somehow radiant, yet pathetic. I wanted to find a way to grant her mother's wish. I have had enough of Beatrice. I want to know who I am. I want to start out as a new human, not Beatrice. So I want you to take me away from here. I don't need tea anymore. I don't need this dress. I won't meet with Kinso again. Please, take me from here. Rosa. However, the responsibility was one that a child like me couldn't hope to fully bear. Still, when I saw her serious gaze, along with that brilliant smile that made it look as though a possessing spirit had left her, I could feel a little courage to start to rise up inside me. This was definitely something that would get me into a lot of trouble, and yet, it was definitely the right thing to do. I'll take her out. Oh. But I'll take her away from here. Of course, I won't be able to talk to father and not mother either. Should I talk to Oni-sama or One-sama? No. What about the reliable Genji-san? Or, that's right. What about Kumasawa-san, to whom I can always talk to when I'm in trouble? I'm sure they'll be able to do something. Anyway, for now, I'll take her out of here. This was already a place she didn't want to be. So I took her to a creek, crack in the fence and let her outside. She was so nervous, checking to make sure there were no wolves around. But once that fear disappeared, even just walking around this dense forest seemed to be so fun somehow. Every time she found something, she asked me about it. And they were all really trivial things. What's that flower? What's that leaf? And that sound? And that smell? It was really like the inside of the fence had been her entire world. So now that she traveled beyond the limits of her world, it's strange. When I first saw her, I really thought she was the witch herself relaxing inside the witch's mansion. But now it's different. But actually, the complete opposite. She left a world she believed to be finite, and was overjoyed at the realization that the world was endless, something she never thought of before. So everything she saw was new. It was almost as though she was the one who had been thrown into a fairy tale. If she was Alice, then I felt almost like a rabbit holding a watch. To her, it was probably a really fun walk filled to the brim with excitement. But I was actually at a loss at what to do. After all, I walked randomly to get there. Of course I didn't know the way back to the mansion. There were no lights in the forest, and I had brought a flashlight. I realized it would be terrible if it got dark while we were still like this, and grew impatient. She was so innocent, and apparently she couldn't understand at all how frightening it would be to face the night inside the forest. But I was the one who brought her outside. I had to take responsibility somehow and resolve the situation. So I had a thought. Let's go out to the ocean for now. If we then follow the beach around, we should eventually make it back to the mansion. However, that was much more of a problem than I had imagined. I didn't have a map or a compass. There was no way I could walk in a straight line through an uncultivated forest, and I immediately lost my sense of direction. I really had no clue what trail I could come by. I was completely lost. At this rate, night would definitely fall before I had a clue where to walk. But this was no time to cry. After all, that woman following behind me was so innocent and having so much fun. So I definitely had to lead the way to the forest, for the sake of her smile as well. Gritting my teeth so that she didn't see me looking at trouble, I pushed my way through the woods, advancing down a path that wasn't a path. After going through various troubles, I fortunately managed to reach the ocean. At that time, I still didn't even have a clue where I was on the island. But for the time being, I was just a little reassured, realizing that if I just went around this way, I would surely be able to return to the mansion. However, though I had reached the ocean, we were at the top of a rock cliff. The beach was far below us. I was tired from walking around the forest for so long, so I figured that an open area, even a rocky beach, would probably be easier to walk in. So I suggested that we go down the rocky cliff somehow. It looked pretty dangerous, but I figured there was no other way. However, Beatrice agreed to my plan without any doubts, even though she was probably older than me. She meekly obeyed almost as though she were some kind of chick who thought I was her mother. I searched to see if there was some part of the cliff I'd be able to get down. Then I found a place where the cliff had fallen over and made us look. It looked a little dangerous. But if we went down with using both hands and both legs, it was like crawling. I thought I'd probably be okay. Let's go down here. It'll be dangerous if we aren't careful. But if we go down to the beach and walk along it, I don't think we'll have to worry about being lost anymore. Indeed. If that's what you're doing, I'll go too. Even getting lost is fun to me. Quite amusing. She really had no sense of danger. There was probably no doubt that she lived a life without discomfort. Even though she knew it would get dark when the night fell, she couldn't imagine how dangerous the inside of a forest could be without a light. Furthermore, it seemed that she couldn't grasp how dangerous it might be if she fell from the cliff. I warned her repeatedly to be careful. I cautiously examined our potential route down. It seemed to be quite a long drop. I think I might have been about 10 meters down. If you looked at it from the bottom, it would probably have looked shorter than the roof of the mansion. But looking from the top, it felt almost like staring down from the observation room on Tokyo Tower. But Beatrice still appeared to be completely without fear. It felt as though she had never even been taught the high places were dangerous. No, maybe she believes that she was a witch. And that she could fly, so there wasn't no need to worry. Please be careful. We're pretty high up. Indeed, I shall be careful. Unless we can get to the ocean if we go down. There's an aquarium there. No, there aren't any aquariums on this island. But there should be lots of fish on the sea. I see. So there are fish. Are there whales and dolphins and penguins like you talked about? No, you have to go to an aquarium for those. And you have to leave this island to find an aquarium. Is that so? Well, I'm looking forward to it. What kind of fish are whales? They're really big. Huh? Aren't there mammals? And they split seawater into this air. Huh? And dolphins? They're really small fish. And weren't they also mammals? They're really small and can be taught tricks and stuff. Then what about penguins? Weren't they birds? What's going on? We're talking about aquariums, but none of these things seem to be fish. There aren't just fish. It's full of all kinds of things that live in the ocean. I really am looking forward to that. She let out what might have been a funny, rushed and short cry. No, it was probably a scream. It came right out of the blue. Her body separated from the cliff and silently fell. I immediately wanted to say something to her. I wanted to yell, "Didn't I tell you to be more careful?" It was the thought of a child. It was how a child immediately gets mad when something bad happens, trying to find an excuse to show it wasn't their fault. Of course I said it out loud. "Are you okay? Didn't I warn you over and over?" Yeah, that was the best scene in the game so far. I had to try so hard not to start crying while they made their way to the beach. I just started imagining Beatrice's reaction when she fully saw the beach up close. Like, she'd never seen that before. It was very hard not to cry. Let me check some stuff while I recompose myself. That was very lovely. Okay, I checked some things I got. Let me check Tomato Land. Oh. Ah! No! What the heck? Why did they show that in the game? That's what I was thinking about. Oh, so this is the sea. It's so fast. Oh, I wanted to see her reaction to the sea. That was like the thing I was looking most forward to. Oh. Okay. I was gonna ask about you possibly crying. I could hear it. Oh, you heard wrong, okay? You heard wrong. This is emotional, and I won't be the last time this game gets read. I mean, you know me. I'm gonna cry. Streamer, can you cry harder, please? Later. We need bigger reactions. I gotta stay in character here. Gotta stay in character. I'm nonchalant. I'm the least emotional person ever. Gosh. Anyway, we're gonna continue reading now. So, I can't move on. I can't just move on like that. Nonch streamer. You pushed an RKP that I'm most excited for you to see. I actually got a long. Okay, whatever. I don't even. I'm cool, alright? Let us begin.
So, she fell from the cliff, and then what? What happened to her? Rosa.
Rosa fell silent. Her gaze dropped to her feet, as though she was seeing through the floor into some disgusting memories. She died, didn't she? Eva's brutal words were the ones Rosa had most wanted to avoid. And then when she was hit with them, she screamed in resignation. Yes! She died! It was a rocky beach with lots of sharp, dangerous rocks exposed. Her eyes were still open, an incredible amount of blood kept pouring out quickly, spreading out until it looked like red carpet. I spoke to her, shook her, but she refused to respond. Not even a blink. No. She wouldn't even close her eyelids. It was my fault. She was wearing a dress, remember? Even though I knew her out was difficult to move in, I said nothing. I said we should go down the cliff. She was incredibly innocent, and she obeyed what I said without any doubts. About that, I don't really have any theories right now. Obviously, I think it can be explained, but for now, this could be a lot of things, like maybe it wasn't that bad, and Kim still found her and saw it to her recovery. Maybe it wasn't Beatrice Jr. and was actually Beatrice Sr. and that's how she died there. Although I prefer the suicide story more. Or maybe she just lived and recovered herself without Kinso's help and did escape. Either way, there's a few possibilities, all far-fetched, but either way, it's whatever. It's not what I'm really interested in right now. How long do you plan on remaining dead? Open your eyes already. Darn you, turning you into a lump of meat all by yourself while I was gone. I was just flirting with your ass Nechan, friends. More importantly, what the heck's going on here? Well, as you can see, I missed my footing, fell down, and died. What the hell? Even though you showed up as the 19th person, you were already dead? Don't mess with me, that's impossible! Rosa was a kid and she was panicked. It's not like a doctor was there. She probably just mistakenly thought you were dead and you probably, were alive and pretending to be dead or something. Isn't that right? I think it's... Badger, come on now. It's more likely that she passed out from the fall and that's why it's not that she had to pretend. It can't be true. She's got to be alive. Otherwise, how could she be here? The kid-age Rosa shook Beatrice's body. Okay, so like I said, it could either be Beatrice Sr. and that's how she died there. It could be that Beatrice Jr. isn't the direct descendant of Beatrice Sr. Maybe there's a Beatrice Middle, and that's the one that died here. Maybe they had multiple daughters. It wasn't just Beatrice Jr., but Beatrice 1 and Beatrice 2. There's a lot I can say. A lot I can say better than Badger could. The kid-age Rosa shook Beatrice's body, crying. I stared into that face too, but her eyes were still open. It was really and it really was a corpse. I wanted to dodge the issue by saying something vague like she must be playing dead, but no matter how I looked at it, it didn't look fake at all. It really did look like she was dead. Beatrice had fallen upside down from a cliff out of that height. And another thing is that all of this could be fake as well. Like, Rosa didn't mention this at all in episode 2. And her head had smashed against the pointed tip of those sharp rocks. You would die, wouldn't you, after landing on those rocks from that height? Nah! But I couldn't accept it. No matter how dead she looked, she had to be alive. Then she went on to become this damn irritating witch that makes all of the inconsistencies fit. Grandfather must have kept her confined, constantly in a hidden mansion. Like, absolutely the most sane explanation is that Kinso found her, and like Nanjo was here still, right? We already saw that Kinso was old, so Nanjo was a dear old friend, so Nanjo the doctor could have cured her. Then, to take revenge for that, she committed several atrocious murders. Rosa probably just mistakenly thought she was dead, but she was actually alive, and as soon as Rosa left, would miraculously breathe again. Then she somehow lived on into today and opened the curtain on her revenge drama. Otherwise, the facts don't fit together. Nanjo mentioned, yeah, for once. I won't let you trick me so easily. Can you repeat it in red? I think I might end stream here. I think you know, we'll worry about what comes next time, you know? I think, yeah. Goodbye to everyone. I hope you all have a wonderful day. Thank you for watching. I'm so scared. I'm so scared. Please. I won't let you trick me so easily. Can you repeat it in red that she's certainly dead? She has to be alive, right? It's obvious. How does that look alive to you? It's definitely dead. Okay, wait. Yeah, that's what I was afraid of, but say it more concretely. What do you mean by it's definitely dead, right? Like there could be a dead bird next to her and that's what she's actually talking about. My theory that... Oh, nah, that was underwhelming. That was underwhelming. No. Okay, two things. I believe it. I believe that I'm thinking too much. And she really does mean that the person there is dead. But again, I had a lot of theories about what it could happen there. That could still be Beatrice Sr. Or it could be that Beatrice Sr. had multiple daughters, not just the one. Maybe that's how the concept of the seven sisters of purgatory came to be, from the different little Beatrices. But I can also hold the possibility that because of how vague she was with it, it's not the Beatrice on the floor there. It is something else. My theory that the 19th person was grandfather's mistress, a human Beatrice, had been defeated. I had planned to strike back from the defensive position, but then who are you? You just died, right? Don't tell me you revived yourself with magic. I already explained that, have I not? The me lying over there definitely possessed my soul, but that body is nothing more than a cage of flesh tying me to the physical world. This is how the cage of flesh was broken. Do you understand what that means? I don't have a clue anymore. Keep having fun with your witch girl tricks. I'll listen to that in the place of a snack. What the? It's empty. Hey, can I get some more black tea? So she's like, this is what she means by the suicide. And I already connected before that I think the suicide is her talking about her mother, not herself. So yes, the possibility that baby Rosa met Beatrice Sr., not our Beatrice, is more alive than ever. And yeah, it makes sense. Why Rosa thinks she looks identical to our Beatrice on the portrait? Well, she was a very young girl, and when all she hears about the portrait of the witch, right, she sees that. So if she at a young age remembers, I met a witch, and this on the portrait is the witch I was warned about, that must be the witch. So that's why she remembers it like that. Yes, but I don't like that overall, because I really liked a lot more the idea that Beatrice Sr. killed herself because of Kinso, like on purpose. This was an accident, which is kind of lame, and it makes the revenge against Kinso feel less cruel, because Kinso didn't actually drive her to kill herself. It was just an accident. But you know, she still kept her in a cage. Anyways, many thoughts, many possibilities. That's the important part. Create a web of possibilities, so one is bound to be correct. Run of it. Our guest would like some tea. When Vato clapped her hands, Ronove appeared. Butler sure a convenience.
I refill your same, certainly. How much shall I pour you?
Well, I've got more than enough snacks. Half will be fine.
Even so, filling it to the brim is an English custom.
Even though just enough to wet my throat would have been fine, I filled it to the top. I turned my back to Vato, sipping in silence. Hey, open your eyes! Beatrice! Rosa shook me. No, shook the corpse that had once been me. I watched her over from a short distance away. Ooh, it's a ghoul! So I fell from there and died. For a while I believed that was true. I saw Rosa spend a long time beside my corpse that she watched, then watched as she ran away. Eventually I realized that I was a different individual from the corpse. That's right. I am me. So I finally managed to escape from Kinso's bonds. Eventually I felt the memory returning. The fact that I was an endless witch who had lived for 1,000 years. Then I remembered that I had been summoned by Kinso and that I had been imprisoned by him for a long time. While being imprisoned in a cage of flesh, I completely lost my memory as a witch. However, thanks to Rosa, if you could say that, thanks to my accidental death, I've now finally regained myself. Rosa, you probably regret bringing about my death, but I should be thanking you. I couldn't see Rosa anymore. Did she go to call a doctor, or was she so terrified that she ran away? I no longer matters. That soulless shell That soulless shell no longer has any value. And yet, I'm so frail now. Even this glorious midday sun is agony to me. I destroyed my human form. Then, I changed into several gold butterflies. Yes, with my magical powers as frail as it is now, this form is easier to maintain. To escape even a little from the light of the sun, I rode the wind and gently flew up the side of the cliff. It would probably be a bit cooler in the forest. Anyway, I'll take some time to recuperate and regain my former power. As I ponder how to make Kinsa pay up all he owes me. Dancing along through the air, I looked down at the shore one more time. On the rocky shore lay the figure of what had once been me, the figure I would eventually regain. To regain the form of that physical body I had thrown away, it would probably take more than 100 to 200 days. And it might require 1,000 days, or perhaps even one more. Wait, was that one or more? Or perhaps even more. However, I am the Endless Witch. The Golden Witch was lived for 1,000 years. Waiting any countable number of days would be no problem. Oh, Kinsa. Regret that you are not here now. No longer will you be able to capture me. Awesome. That whole section, everything about that was amazing. Cool. Almost there. To what? And then you change into gold butterflies, hid in the forest, and waited for your magical power to be restored. Is that what you're saying? That is correct. I take this form to sneer at you, but most of the time it's easier magically for me to keep my form as gold butterflies. Hey, feel free to take a load off and stick to wherever is easiest. I wouldn't mind not having to hear your irritating laugh. When I turned into butterflies and slipped into the forest, it was already no longer possible to Kinsa to find me. However, Kinsa was not dismayed. Still, he was not immediately able to prepare a way to catch me. So he first moved to prevent me from leaving the asylum, and to keep me from regaining my power. My. At any rate, Kinsa's spitefulness was unimaginable. It was pretty tough to be loved by someone like that. He found a way to keep you from leaving after you returned into butterflies. What, did he put a bug net around the entire forest? Indeed, a magical one. Didn't you know? On the sea in front of the harbor is a reef upon which sits a small shrine of Eastern magic. That. End of chapter, but just have to say that End of chapter, but just have to say that over the non-zero chance of you deciding to end stream here. I'm exhausted. I was like planning to end soon, but I wasn't gonna end in the middle of it. I wanted to end the chapter, yeah. That. It was gone by this year, though. It was a small shrine built long ago by a Shugenja, right?
From the very beginning, Ronkenjima has been an island enveloped by distortion. It attracts things of magical power and other related creatures. The lady herself is one of them. How about some more tea?
Please. They brought harm to humans and probably left several eerie legends in their wake. That small shrine was built in ancient times by an Eastern magician who heard of them. A long time passed and their power was lost. 1 second. back. My cat was hungry. A long time passed and that power was lost. By repairing it, Kinso restored this island's barrier and once again bound me to the island. Can Eastern magic work on a Western witch like you? Normally, the affinity would be poor. However, for the purpose of receiving me here, it may have been quite convenient in a way. If it was Western magic, I would have had some knowledge. For any barrier, there would have been several measures I could have taken. But Eastern magic is outside my area of expertise. If I had been given chopsticks instead of a spoon for some soup that I wanted to drink...
In a space dominated by Eastern magic, Western magic loses much of its power. Even if she were given 1,000 days to regain her strength, she would have to wait many, many more.
So you're saying it took you 20 years to regain your power, and now you're revived, as we can all see? Those were horribly long years. I spent many days in the form of gold butterflies, found Kinso's mansion, and watched over him every day. I lived through those days with no means to enjoy myself except to ponder how I would get back at him. That period of 20 years was fortunate for me. Kinso tried to use all sorts of magic to find and capture me, but each failed. There's a limit to how many miracles a single human can bring about. Even simply holding me captive for that long had been a miracle far above his place. It would be unthinkable for me to be captured like that multiple times. Grandfather said something in the previous game. It was something like magic lies in a miracle of probability. Indeed, as Kinso was searching for a hidden art to capture me again, he stumbled upon that. Then he finally worked out the ceremony involving the offering of 13 people as sacrifices to revive me again. 13 people as sacrifices.
That is the witch's epitaph. A song of sacrifices. 6 people on the first twilight, 2 people on the second, and then 5 more people on the 4th through 8th twilights. A forbidden ceremony involving the offering of a total of 13 people as sacrifices. Those sacrifices were to be chosen randomly, and the one who held the ceremony, Kinso himself, was no exception.
Dumbass, are you saying that all that gruesome murders on this island were a weird ceremony? I've had a vague idea that this might be the case, but I couldn't just hear that it was the true form of a witch and a demon and say, "Oh, really?" and accept it. There are 18 people on Ronkenjima. 13 are offered as sacrifices, 5 are left alive. Then I revive. In other words, the odds that Kinso will be able to meet me again are probably around 1 in 3. He bet his own life on those odds, wishing for a reunion with me for the last bit of his remaining life. You're saying he gathered her family for the sake of that joke of a ceremony? Don't mess with me. Don't say stuff like that, dammit! It was so set out in a contract from the beginning, when Kinso's life ended. All that gold I lent him and all the assets he created would be given to me. Yes, Kinso did stab me in the back quite brutally, but looking back now, it was a rare and precious time during my 1,000 years of life. After all, boredom is my natural enemy. To Kinso, who offered me a chance to run away from that for several decades, yes, you could say I owe him for that. I decided to go along with Kinso's game. So to start, Kinso returns the Ushirimiya family head's ring to me. It was my goal to revive the family after all. Then 13 people are chosen at random to be sacrifices. When that happens, you all run about, showing me all kinds of human interactions as you try to oppose me and entertain me greatly. Yes, I truly believe taking a liking to this game of Kinso's. I definitely won't believe in that kind of magic story. Then who are you? You fell off a cliff and died, damn it. Your soul slipped out, became butterflies and went out to the forest? That's all a load of bullcrap. But you're here. Who are you? Aren't you the 19th person? That is true. I am the 19th person. But it's useless, right? It's all useless. There are no more than 18 humans on this Ronkenjima! Interesting. This puts a big wrench into a lot of things. Confirmations in Golden Lantern. Oh wow! That's so... oh my gosh. This art is so gorgeous. Thank you for sharing. Oh, it's so pretty. Okay. This won't do at all. So she couldn't say it before because there were 19 humans and then dead. What now indeed? That's what I'm trying to figure out. It's like, the thing is, this isn't that big of a deal. The whole time, I've been blaming people within the island. My main suspect is Kinso. I still believe Kinso is mostly directly responsible for most of the murders in episode 1. But like in episode 2, I put all the blame on the servants. So I've always been working with the theorem that I should just take into account the 18 people. It was only after this whole magic debate started becoming bigger that I was like, okay, I want to find a way that the people on the island aren't responsible too. But it's just becoming much harder and harder each time. And like, even if it wasn't the... like, no, that's the thing. Even when I believe that there's a 19th person, I still blame the servants. In episode 2, like I said, like, there's no way. There's just no way I can think of that those murders were committed by anyone that isn't the servants. So it doesn't matter that there's no 19th person. The only thing that... so like, all the murders and all that, still rock solid. This puts no dangers on those theories. My problem now is that Beatrice. Because like I said last stream, Beatrice needs to be someone. That's where the whole daughter thing came from. It's just, it's so far-fetched. Because, I know, it really isn't. Nope. I think I'm perfectly good right now. Because these scenes right here with the tea parties where Butler and Beatrice talk to each other, I've never given them any thought, TBH. I just like, they've always been working outside of any logic for me. There's something that doesn't need to fit into magic or no magic. None of that. It's its own little pocket dimension where these things happen. So, Butler and Beatrice being able to talk to each other here means nothing. So, the thing I have right now is that Beatrice did somehow escape the island when she died. She swam all the way out. No, she like found a boat or whatever. Someone found her at sea. And all of this, every single thing she's doing. Okay, wait, let me think more. I'm so happy. This is so interesting. There's a lot of possibilities. Because again, like I said, the epitaph in the game is all Kinso's doing. I don't believe Beatrice is involved in any way, shape, or form. If anything, I believe that she would lose if no one solves the epitaph, because that means Kinso wins. It's gonna be a bit of a long one. Let me see if I can articulate it better. Because yeah, I already have answers. This was like the least problematic thing she said in Red. The thing that she said about the servant keys, that one was the worst one of all time. This one did not hurt that bad. This was very multiple ways to explain it. Just let me see if I can articulate. I think I have 3 theories or 2. Oh yeah, from the farm. He's like for real there, and this is all story about Valak recovering his not in his spirit and yada yada. Yes, 2 theories. I have 2 theories. 1, she isn't on the island. She somehow did escape the island, and everything she's been doing is from afar. Like, she became affluent over there in Japan or wherever she landed, and she has never stepped foot on the island since. Everything she has orchestrated has been from afar. And maybe the servants even work for her because they see her as the true head of the house. So the servants are her eyes and ears on the island, or she is on some other island, or maybe on a boat near the island. Whatever it is, it's just she's not there. And like that, I like that because that means she still exists and she's a person. But I do think it's a bit too far-fetched and a bit stupid. But also it's thematic. I really like it because it means that Kinso's whole deal was absolutely for nothing. And that's very tragic and thematic to me. That Kinso has done so much and wasted so many of his years for someone who doesn't even want to step foot on the island anymore. To someone who didn't step foot on the island right now where his game was supposed to start. He threw his ring to no one over there. Like, it's thematic for Kinso. It was absolutely for nothing because she wasn't ever gonna show up. She's gone and she's orchestrating from afar. But second theory, which I like a lot more, she really is dead. She really is dead. But that's it. She is super duper 100% dead. No witches, no magic. It's just that she died. And the story of this game is Butler, the outsider of his family, coming back into this family and discovering the dark truths of the family. Discovering how every adult has money problems and they're all stinky and all that. But the biggest thing is discovering the truth about Kinso. That he had a mistress, a daughter, plus afterwards. This daughter dies and it's been covered up. It has been covered up by witches and fairy tales and all that, and Kinso has gone insane, and now it is Butler's job to uncover the story of Beatrice, her tragedy, her death, bring light to it, and bring justice to her spirit, to bring her spirit so that her spirit gets peace. So it's not supernatural either. Like, in a way it is supernatural, but it's not like she's going to haunt them or anything. It's metaphorical that if her spirit never gets justice and never gets this peace, then Butler has failed as a person. Like, it's his job to bring peace to this young woman who died 20 years ago. And obviously the whole epitaph and all the murders were all Kinso's doing, and he's just gone insane over this person that died 20 years ago, and he hasn't been able to accept that she died 20 years ago. So it is Butler's job to bring about the light of her death, how she died, her tragedy, her horrible upbringing as a caged bird, and finally put her soul to rest. And that's how everything ends. So I guess pedophile accusations can be thrown out the window because it's a love story in the way that Butler will fall in love with the memory of someone, and that's really sweet. He will learn a lot about her and who she was and her memory. But, she's dead, so yada yada. So those two is what I come up with right now. And they're very satisfying. I like both. I don't know what I prefer. I like both. And you should always have two. You should always have two answers to every question, just in case one's wrong. So either she's watching and orchestrating from another place, another island, on a boat, or she really is dead, and this whole story is about bringing peace to her spirit. Boom, wham, pow. Write that down. Let us continue. So thank you, Beatrice. You could have done a lot worse. I'm shocked. I was more scared about the keys. Those keys, dude. I'm traumatized about those keys. Those keys, I will never forget. Anyways, let's continue. What did you say? So you're saying that the X in the 18 plus X doesn't exist? Are you saying the piece I took, the X, doesn't exist? Okay, I understand seeing the big age gap is problematic, but are you aware, Axel, of what the PDF word means? Are you being like one of those people that like it's saying, oh, pedophile is from these ages and ebophile means these ages and all that? Because yes, I do know the differences. It's just everyone only knows the pedophile term. Oh, but you're saying that like it has to be an adult with a like legal minor. Yes, also that. I'm also just using the word deliberately. It's a good thing you can't be traumatized again, surely. That is what this means. My condolences. Still, you do move fast, my lady. And I thought you'd let him flounder about before spinning everything around at the end. Well then, Beatrice-sama, would you have some more tea? Would some more tea be agreeable? I don't need it, damn it. I don't believe it. The corporate can't be one of the 18. Then what are you? And why are you here? If the 19th person doesn't exist, then what are you saying? You're one of the 18 in disguise? Perhaps you are castling, though reluctantly you are doubting one of the 18 people as your last way out. However, it will be difficult for me from here on out. If you choose to stop caring about propriety, you can prepare a culprit freely amidst the 18 people, making you reach checkmate by evading those 18 pieces. Ah, crap. It will be truly difficult. As if I'll do that, I won't suspect any of the 18. I don't want to suspect people. Have I really been cornered here again? Damn it. It looks like we're finally approaching the end in the third round of this game of ours. You're nowhere to run anymore, right? You don't want to suspect any of those beloved people in the 18, do you? Were you trying to hide that from me? Then why do you refuse me? They say you should play the opening like a book, the middle game like a magician, and the end game like a machine. How corner you from here on? Slowly, carefully, surely. Or, on the other hand, would it be better I pressed you all at once, which might suit your style more? Yes, that should fit you well. Let's do that. I'm now fully aware of the sorts of attacks you're weak against. I have come out of this undefeated. I have my head held high. Oh, I can't. I'm going to collapse if I continue. But I miss Jessica so much. Oh, okay, there's just like a little flash of where everyone is at right now. This is happening. And we're done there. End of stream. Oh my goodness. What? That was... Yeah. Lots to think about. Lots to think about. But I'm pretty content with what I came up with. GG's, and thank you all for watching. You can do better than him. Thank you all for watching. I hope you have a wonderful rest of your day, everyone. And be safe. And yeah, that was so much process. Thank you for updating the document, and thank you for sending the manga panels. They are so gorgeous as usual. So yes, farewell and bye bye.